Good afternoon. We are looking today, at neutral. Okay, so this is how to set the pelvis in most Pilates exercises, unless you go into a little imprint because your back is a bit grumpy with you. Okay, so you're going to put the heel of your hand on those bones called your hip bones and into your pubic bone to make a triangle, like that. And then you lie on down. Put a pillow on your head, by the way, if it's a wee bit uncomfy. Have a little wiggle. Or a lot, and then you want to try to get that triangle shape parallel to the floor, so in the same line as the floor, okay, like that, not tilted either way. And what you can get is a glass. If you popped that, if there was a tray there, it wouldn't tilt towards you and it wouldn't tilt away from you. Okay, it would be horizontal to the floor, which is where the water level will be. You're not tipping it either way. So that's what we call it, is our neutral pelvis. Now there will most likely be a small space underneath your back, not a big gap. Otherwise you've just got to go in your ribs, not and scrunch your body into the floor. So this is a relatively relaxed start. Okay, there's no connection going on right now. You're just investigating where your pelvis sits. And also this applies when you are doing kneeling work. So my triangle here would be at 90 degrees to the floor instead. Yeah, so tucked under is like that, slumped back. Where's my glass? Okay, so it'd be tilted backwards and tilted forward. Okay, so you'd spill the liquid, and we want to try to keep it nice and level, no spillage. And please drink lots of water, it's great for your tissues. So neutral comes in all different ways. We want it 90 degrees to the floor here. When we're lying on our back, parallel to the floor, no big arch in through the ribs, no slumping, no rounded. And how your lower back is going to vary. Okay, so I can't tell you too much about that. Think more of where your pelvis is. And this applies to hands and knees. So the triangle, again, that would be a tuck tail, that's a sticky up bum. Somewhere in the middle is where that triangle, okay, small space triangle there, is again horizontal to the floor level. It's a little bit trickier to figure out, but that would be my tail going under, and that's my tail going up. So somewhere in between all of that, you find the length and you will find a neutral pelvis, and that's where we would start a lot of our exercises from if we were in hands and knees. Okay, so neutral pelvis, different positions. Try it. Hey, so the core. I was trying to lip read then. What did I say? So this bit in the middle. So in the last video we set neutral, and that's what I want you to come down with now. And we're going to investigate keeping neutral. Again, in the write-up will be what imprinted spine is, but if we can, we aim to neutral. So there may be a small space under your back, no ribs arching high into there generally. And remember, we wanted to get that pelvis horizontal to the floor, and just breathe to begin with. See, that's a dumping of the spine into the ground, and that's a pushing of the ribs. So you don't want to jam your back into the floor. Yeah, there's this really nice long lengthening feeling, and then you just want to gently draw the belly in, not crunch it in. So if you see, I don't know if you can see my belly bulge there, because I made my work too hard. I zip up to my belly button, small effort. If you have any issues, had a slip disc, please speak to someone. You don't need to work harder than you think a lot of the time. That can cause more problems. So you lie in your neutral, you do your zip up, and if you remember that glass, watch out for the glass later, I'm going to give you a great laugh. Okay, that glass, if you can remember, was resting on your tray, if that was a good thought for you, and we try to keep it there as we lifted one leg. Okay, so as you're lifting, you're not letting the glass, and I was like, can I do it and not hold it? Whoa, that was a big challenge, I will be honest. Okay, and that's the goal. How much do you need to work your core to not let that glass tip over and rock and roll? Okay, so it's a good thing if you use your hands in different places, all right, to feel what's going on. That's me pushing my spine down, not my goal. long through the back as I lift up one leg and put it down, and then doing the other one. Now, if you see my hands there, ribs to hips. So you want to keep both sides long, not shorten your body. It's another place that you could put your hands. So you're keeping the waistline nice and long, which can also encourage you to keep the neutral pelvis. We pick up one leg and then other, down and down. I'm going to ask you to breathe rather than go too much into, oh my God, how do I breathe? Just try to get the feeling of this, and we'll cover breath. There is another video on breath later, okay? So remember, no shortening of your body, nice and long, relaxed through your chest. Other thing that can happen is the back can arch like that. So body stays super still as you just move your leg from the hip joint. Hands can be underneath your back like this. Do put 2 hands under or 2 hands on top. If you put one under, it can tilt you. Okay, so you just want to be symmetrical in your body. Now then, 2 legs together. Big challenge to try to bring 2 up and 2 down without that big arch of the body. Okay, so the core goes on, the waistline stays long. You got to pull up and in, and you may find an inhale helps you to do that, or an exhale. Typically, it is an exhale, and then you might want to inhale at the top and exhale down. Now you can do a toe tap, which is a little bit more gentle than doing 2 legs up. Again, check it out. No upper body pushing. Keep the upper body super chilled and relaxed as you just tap one foot down and up, and then the other. Okay. It's a good way just to get a sense of where your body is, and can you hold relatively still as you move at your hip joint, okay? And I'll show you a bulging belly in the next video, but just still going to build you up for the silly instructor moment coming up. Now, similar thing happens on our hands and knees. So remember, neutral here is still the same of the triangle is parallel to the floor. Head reaching long, tail reaching back, belly lifted. Now all you do is slide a leg back. Now as we slide the leg back, if you look at my back, I'm going to aim to keep everything in my upper body perfectly still as my leg goes back. So stomach first lifts up. Notice how it comes up, but I don't change the shape of my spine. And then the opposite arm and leg. It's actually easier to do opposites. Go forward and back. Now this is, you could probably guess what's going to happen. And you're right. Okay, so you put something on your lower back sacrum. Yeah, yes, Lisa, you were stupid. Okay, to slide out. You want that glass to stay still. Don't have to lift too high. Even when you come down, you're trying not to rock your pelvis. Then you do the other side. See how good job I did. But then I was going to show you, whoops, what happens when you wobble. Take 2 coming up. Hi. Oops, take 2. So, don't use a glass. Use plastic. Okay, it's a really good idea to balance something there because it gives you some feedback, but not something breakable. So, bless, my mum came out and helped me hoover the grass, which is not real grass, by the way. So, something on your back there. Look, I lift opposites. That's what I was demonstrating when it slid off. You want to keep that beautifully still. So, again, can you maintain your spine shape as you do things with your limbs? That's our goal, basically. Not sagging, not dropping, keeping a lift, which also is up through the arm as you lengthen the leg out. If you don't have a nice open hip, you'll find your lower back will go. Do not use something breakable. Now, one more thing to notice. Check out the bulging belly. So especially if you've had a baby in the last sort of 3, 6, possibly even a year, you will see this more. And if you had diastole, if you know what that is after pregnancy, you're going to see this bulge. My belly's not doing it. I've not had kids. But you will see a dome. And even bellies that have been a little bit larger can have the same thing. So what happens is, you see when I push down, if I push my spine into the floor, my belly bulges up. Belly bulges up. But I don't want that. I want the length and the flat feeling. It's like a drum skin is being pulled around you. And then when I move my legs, same as we did a minute ago, that stays still. So hands could go underneath your back. Okay, here's my drum skin with my top. The belly doesn't go doing. And that's what you want to look at when you've done a little abdominal curl up. See, look at that. When those legs come up, boing. That's going to actually teach you to overwork the outside muscles and not get the deep muscles going on, which is what Pilates goes on about with its powerhouse and neutral. The zip up from inside gives you a nice look, not arching the back, which will be a back strain. Otherwise, you just pull in, tighten the waistline that little bit, and don't break glasses. Thanks a lot. Okay, bye.